5 minutes to go. Flight 232 comes out of its final turn into Sioux City. 20 seconds. As the plane comes into land, the right wing drops. Disaster strikes. The right wingtip hits the ground and the DC-10 careers down the runway. A $21 million jet weighing 165 tons is brought down by a tiny metallic floor. For the NTSB investigation team, there's a terrible twist to the tragedy. Investigators discover that United Airlines technicians made a routine inspection of the defective fan disc just 16 months before the crash. They're disturbed. The crack was on the fan disc surface. At the time of the inspection, the crack could have been close to 13 millimeters long.
This disc had been inspected before the accident, and we determined that the crack was of a detectable size, but that it just wasn't detected.
The NTSB report concluded that the crack was probably missed due to human error. The report accepted that United Airlines inspection procedures complied with regulations and were up to industry standard, and cited human factors as an industry-wide problem in engine inspection. In the wake of the Sioux City disaster, the Federal Aviation Authority upgraded engine inspection procedures. The FAA also demanded changes to the DC-10's hydraulic systems. Airlines were required to add shut-off valves to limit the amount of fluid that can drain from a breach in hydraulic lines. But today, lab children are still allowed to remain unrestrained during emergency landings. Ever since the crash, Jan Brown Law has campaigned for all children to have allocated seats and safety restraints on airplanes. She has never forgotten the young boy, Evan Zhao, who lost his life on her watch.
Evan would be 17 years old today had he been in a seat.
Denny Fitch, Al Haynes, and the other crew members received industry awards for their extraordinary professionalism and valor. Jerry Schemmel, who now has children of his own, will never forget the debt he owes the pilots.
I've thought about those guys every day for 16 years. I don't think we could have been equipped with a better cockpit crew than what we had.
The safety measures triggered by the Sioux City crash transformed aviation safety, not just on the DC-10, but on all passenger airliners. The new rules should ensure that such a bizarre and devastating accident can never happen again. There are over 400 DC-10s in service. But it's a plane with a troubled history. Windsor, Ontario, 1972. A cargo door blows out on a year-old DC-10, causing severe decompression. The pilots managed to land the plane safely. 2 years later, a door comes off a Turkish Airlines DC-10 flying out of Paris. This time, the violent decompression tears the plane apart in midair. All 346 people on board die. McDonnell Douglas finds the fault and fixes it. But the reputation of the DC-10 never fully recovers. The DC-10 making flight 232 today is in its 17th year of service and has flown over 43,000 hours. So far, without incident. Today should be no different. Debbie McKelvey boards with her friend and 2 kids. They add to an unusually high number of children on board. 52 in total, thanks to the Children's Day deal. For senior flight attendant Jan Brown Law, lots of children on board means a busy flight ahead. After a 4-day trip, Jan is excited to be heading home to Chicago.
I just remember feeling just the energy of this last leg and getting all pumped up to do the service.
Captain Haynes, co-pilot Bill Records, and flight engineer Dudley Dvorak run through their pre-flight checks. They taxi out to the runway and await the takeoff clearance. At 2:09 p.m., the three-engine jet flies out of Denver.
The morning we left Denver, it was clear skies, beautiful day, nice smooth air, comfortable flight, just a routine flight.
One can fly for 1 cent, but each must fly with a paying adult. Debbie pairs up with a tennis club girlfriend, Ruth Ness, so she can sit with one of the kids.
It was nice having Ruth with me because she entertained one child while I was entertaining the other child.
1:15 p.m. Debbie, Ruth, and the kids wait to board flight UA 232 to Philadelphia via Chicago. Commanding the flight is Captain Alfred C. Haynes. His cabin staff reported a minor electrical fault in the galley on the previous leg, but engineers have given it the all clear. Captain Haynes is a veteran pilot with 7,190 hours logged in the DC-10. The passengers will be in safe hands today.
The DC-10 is a great airplane to fly. I think I was termed an old man's airplane because it's so simple to fly.
At this time in the late 1980s, Jerry Schemmel is Deputy Commissioner of the Continental Basketball Association and a frequent flyer.
I was never a nervous flyer. I always kind of enjoyed flying. I took my first flight at age 18. I always enjoyed it.
Jerry is flying to Columbus on business with his boss and great friend, Jay Ramsdell. Their original flight is cancelled, but Jay gets a seat on the very next flight. The bad news is there's no seat for Jerry. Jay decides to stay with his buddy and wait for an even later plane.
I didn't think much of it at that time. I thought it was a nice gesture. I thought to myself, I hope I would have done the same thing.
Finally, after a 6.5-hour wait, Jerry and Jay both get seats on flight UA 232 to Philadelphia. Flight 232 is busy today. It's carrying 285 passengers and 11 crew. Colorado, Denver, Stapleton Airport, July 19th, 1989. Known as the gateway to the Rockies, Denver is the starting point for journeys all over the U.S. 1,300 planes take off from here every day, carrying over 75,000 passengers. It's the peak of the summer season, and Stapleton is packed with vacationers and business travelers. Debbie McKelvey will be among the vacationers flying from Stapleton today. She's taking her children, Devon, age 6, and her son Ryan, who's 7, to a family reunion back in her home state of Pennsylvania.
I was going home for 2 weeks with my children, and I was very, very excited about the trip.
Debbie is taking advantage of United Airlines Children's Day promotion. Today, kids under 14